Ladies and gentlemen, we're blessed here tonight again with Abbi Hoareau. She has just got back from an awesome trip, and she's about to talk on mindset tonight. So, Abbi, I'll let you take it away.
Oh, here we go, right into things. Awesome. All right. So tonight, as I said, Timmy and I had a little chat, and I said I'll talk a little bit because I'm fresh out of my course, and I thought I'll share a little bit about my journey being on the course, and things that you maybe can implement and do around your business as well. I did a bit of training last night with the team, and I did the heading as up level your mind, up level your business, and I'll really touch on that because over the last week there has been a lot of kind of light bulb moments for me, and I want to kind of share that a little bit with you guys, and hopefully get you thinking about ways that you can up level your mind so that you can up level your business. So for those that don't know me, I've been in the business for 8 years now, NMD for around 4 or 5 years, and this business is a personal growth business, and we always say it, and you'll hear it time and time again, it really is a personal development course disguised as a business. And we always say, if you're not growing, you're dying. And if you're ever felt that stuck roadblock kind of feeling in this business, I can tell you now it's all because of this mindset. It's all because you've come to a point of growth. And one of this beautiful analogy, one of the trainers shared with me during the week, is identifying what fog is. Okay, F-O-G, fog. Sometimes in our business we get frustrated, we can get a bit of anxiety, and in life, like this comes up, these feelings can come up for us when we just get a little bit stuck, get a little bit unsure of our direction, and lose some clarity of where we're going. And fog is about is that feeling of excitement. Okay, so feeling of growth. That would be F-O-E if I said excitement. F-O-G, feeling of growth. And feeling of growth is a time when you embrace it, really can up level your business, up level your mind to another level. And we get into fog quite often. And the challenges that we have and are faced are normally the growth time in our business. And, you know, it's really, really important to identify that and learn the lessons we need to along the way. So this last 7 days, I immersed myself every day from literally 7:30 to 4:30 in personal growth. I became and certified as a practitioner in NLP. So NLP is neuro-linguistic programming, and I also specialised in something called timeline therapy. All very fancy words, but basically what that means is understanding the language of the mind, the way that we think, and the power that has shaped us in terms of our perception of our world. We all have different perceptions of things, and this whole week has really taught me, especially in reflection of myself, what has shaped me to who I am today, and also what needs to shape me to where I want to go in the future. Okay, because identifying this is so powerful. It becomes such a tool, such a power tool that you can use to propel and compel your future ahead. So what I really learned, NLP is really interesting actually. Some of the founders of NLP, the way they started this up is a few of them wanted to understand why are some people successful and why are some people not. Okay, if we were to have a look at the most successful people in your life and even in this business, and you look at NMDs and all sorts of stuff that you can kind of model and think, you know what, they are successful. What is it? What is it? Why is some people there and some people just aren't? And what they studied in NLP was that there was a common thread. There was things in the successful people's mindset that the others just didn't have. And what NLP did was really study what that looked like. What is it that they were doing, and what was their mindset like to get them to where they needed to go? Why are some people motivated and some people are just not? Okay, and that became a really interesting thing to find out. So, you know, just for your own thoughts, I would love you to kind of go back to the way you think. How many of us live in the past? Like, how many of us have kind of gone always thinking about events in the past or things that have happened, and we live our life thinking about what's already happened? I know lots of people do. Like, there's a lot of people that, whether it's events, whether it's things that have happened to them, whether it's just frustrations, that they're always going back in the past. Or are you someone that lives in the moment? Are you someone that is very present and you don't really do either? You kind of don't look at the past and you don't look at the future, but you're just making decisions all the time. Most people like that are quite spontaneous and kind of just live in the moment, which is great too. There's good and bad in all of this. And then there's some people that focus just on the future. Okay, and that's all that they focused on. That can be good and bad too, because with just always thinking in the future can cause a little bit of anxiety, because it can you're kind of worried sometimes about what does that look like for you. So as you can see, everyone thinks differently. You know, some people might be always in the past. Some people take a bit of everything, but everyone thinks in a different way. And one of the most, quotes that I find so powerful is that our personality is our personal reality. Okay, I've heard this number of times, but over this last week, that phrase really hit me. So have a think about that. Our personality is our personal reality. What does that mean? So to give you a bit of an understanding of how we're shaped and how our mindset is shaped, is that if we are to look in the past, we have had events and we've had things that have happened to us that we attach an emotion to. And that is our perception. That's our perspective on things. So if I give you an example of that, if you grew up in a family of 2 or 3 siblings, in a family environment, and maybe an event happened in your house, and someone fell over and hurt themselves, and there was 3 siblings that watched that event. If I was to ask each of you what happened when you saw that event, I can guarantee you all 3 of you will have different perspective, a bit different perspective on that event. Okay, one person might got really fearful, like maybe something, if they've fallen, there was fear that when they saw them do that, an emotion that they got was fear. Maybe the other sibling laughed about it, thought it was the most hilarious thing they've ever seen, right? And an emotion they attached with that was laughter, okay? What happens with that is when our mind holds on to an emotion through an event, it shapes that into a reaction, or it shapes that into a behavior. So, for instance, if it was fear, that you attach to that emotion, you have a feeling, and when a feeling is formed, you then create an emotion around that. Now, even though that seems so insignificant, what happens sometimes is that we take that along our journey of life. Okay, and maybe you have seen events like that similar, or whether it has triggered something that later on in life you have attached that event to fear, or you then become a worrywart around your own children for falling because of an event that's happened in the past, and now that fear of falling has kind of taken over your mind. Okay, so this is what we do. Now, the only problem with that is that it becomes our own perception. Okay, was it the event that was the problem, or was it our perception and our emotion that we attached to the event that became the problem? Because your brother might have thought this most hilarious event and put a positive spin on that and has gone along his merry way and it's never bothered him. Okay, so these are the little things that along the way of life we pick up and often become our roadblocks, because we carry it with us. And often triggers come up that we go, okay, why do I feel that way? Why is it that I have fear around that? Then because fear becomes judgment, or I'm not good enough, or all these things that become self-talk. One of the things that I found this really interesting is that our unconscious mind takes up 83% of our brain mass. 83%. So 83% of our brain mass is unconscious. 17% is conscious. So how that looks like, and this is kind of an analogy that I kind of stuck with me. If you imagine 2 million toothpicks falling from the sky, so 2 million. So our brain actually takes in 2 million bits of information, okay, 2 million bits of information. But our conscious mind only processes 134 bits of that 2 million, okay? That's what our conscious mind actually takes in. So if we had all these toothpicks, 2 million falling down on us, and we just picked up a handful of 134 toothpicks, and we even picked up maybe 134 every couple of minutes, I mean, over an hour, we may only get, you know, a few hundred toothpicks. So there's still 2 million that drop from the sky. How many toothpicks do we miss out on? A shitload, a shitload. And that's literally our brain, our mindset. We are filtering every single day the things that we only want to see because of our perception of everything that's shaped us in the past. Okay, that was a huge eye-opener for me, because when I started to unlock some of the unconscious over this last week, my mind started to expand more than it's ever have before. And I almost felt that probably for the last 20 or 30 years, I've been just in a trance or just been focused on the things that I just know, and that I haven't had the capability to understand what else that's out there, and what else that I am missing out on, because we delete, distort, and generalize everything that we filter. So for instance, you know, I'm sure you've heard this before. If you know, you closed your eyes and I got you to think of brown things around that, like close your eyes and think of all the brown things, and then opened your eyes and I asked you to see blue. You only really, when I told you to look for brown, you only focus on the brown. But yet there's all the blue around us, right? So in life, we do that. We focus on our perception of things and we delete and distort a lot of other things. All our behavior and learning and change is all in our unconscious, okay, which becomes really, really important. I actually posted this on Facebook. I don't know if anyone read this, and if you haven't, have a little read of my daughter Marley. When I came back from doing this course, it was such an eye-opener of the power of how we link our emotions with events. She's only 8 and she gets triggered a lot, and I'm like, why does this girl get triggered at literally everything? But we had a bit of a moment when I came back, and we were talking a bit about metaphors, and I was kind of telling a few stories. And she basically got really upset when I told her my sister or her auntie is pregnant. Now, as a child, I thought that was kind of weird, because I'm like, why are you getting really upset when you're going to be like a cousin, a first cousin? And she got really triggered by that, my auntie's, her auntie's pregnant. So I knew I had to dig a little bit deeper. And I asked her, the question is, why is that? Why is that by her being pregnant? What do you feel around that? And she actually said to me, sadness. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. You know, it's not often when you hear someone's pregnant that you feel sad. So this is kind of weird. Digging a little bit deep and asking the right questions, again, power of questions, she told me that she didn't like change. And when there's change, she feels sad. Okay? Can you hear how she's linking an emotion to something, okay, to something that's happened? So I knew that just by my sister being pregnant, that change is, and sadness, it's got to be deeper than that. There's got to have been an event that's happened for make her think that. So as we dug, and I asked her, when was another time that you felt that? And I'll get you to think that for yourself. If something triggers you, go back to when was there a time that happened for me? because you'll start to actually tap into your unconscious mind. I got her to close her eyes, and as an 8-year-old, I didn't know where she'd go with this, because obviously adults have a bit more capacity to be able to, you know, go back. But straight away, she said to me, "Mummy, it was when you took the railings off my bed that I got really sad and I felt really unsafe." And I thought, wow, that was 4 years ago. So she was 4 years old. I took the railings off her bed, and she got really sad about that because it was change. And then I dug deeper, and she felt safety because she used to run her hands across the railing at night, and that kept her safe and let her fall asleep. And over the month of her having the railings off, she fell out of the bed twice. So again, feeling unsafe. So though that could have been a very trivial event, she's attached the change to unsafe and sad. So now I've gone back in her little life, and I've realized that every time there's change, she gets triggered, and it brings sadness, and it brings a feeling of unsafe. So I was fortunate enough, now knowing some of the techniques of NLP, we went back and we reframed the perception she had on that. Remember, it's perception. It wasn't the event, it's what she attached to the event, right? So we were able to rewire that way for her to think about that in a more gratitude way, in a way that's going to serve her better. Because I can tell you now, if you start to think about all the things that don't serve you, and all the things that is blocking you, or you coming against something that feels, you know, that it's hard or stuck, I would challenge you to go back and actually think about what event that has happened to you that makes you feel that emotion when that comes up. And I can tell you now, and this is very powerful done with a coach, because you can get really deep and unblock that. When you free yourself of that emotion attached to the event, I tell you what, I felt lighter. My whole demeanor and physiology just changed, because I realized that I have attached so many things, these little blocks that have come along my way to stop me from being who I need to be. And we're all the same. We're all humans. We all have those emotions that come up. And I tell you now, it's so powerful to be able to tap into your unconscious mind and help you to be free of those things. So on a positive, I hope how are we going for time? Cool. Are we about a few minutes? Okay. I know we started a bit late. Let me know if there's any questions around that, because I wanted to basically give you here we go. Oh, cool. Yeah, awesome. It does. It makes you, and Emma, like, this was huge for me, because also you realize as a parent, you know, 0 to 7 years of age is the imprinting age. It's called the imprinting blueprint age. 0 to 7 is literally the years that emotions and behaviors are formed. So that's why when I actually did a bit of coaching with the one-on-ones with our clients this week, you realize when you tap into your unconscious, it's normally 0 to 7, which is where you remember things. It's where things are formed. So, you know, as a parent, you become extremely now aware. This is the imprinting time, especially if you've got a child those ages. The 7 to 14 years is called the modeling years. So if you've got a 7 to 14-year-old, it's the modeling years, which means that they are modeling your behaviors. So again, big responsibility on parents here. If you need to change, you know, your perception on things and have a look at you reflecting on what you're doing in those years that they are modeling you, it becomes a really important thing to really look at things that you're doing. And then 14 to 21 years of age is what they call the socializing years. So the years that actually then they're forming their communication with others. And again, that's so important to really break that down, because when you go back, you realize that there's things that have shaped you over 0 to 21. That's actually quite powerful. Those years are so powerful. And I think it's only later on in life that you then start to go, why do I do this the way I do? And why do I think the way I think? And you start to put the puzzle together, and you realize that it's only things that have shaped your perception when you were young that have now is your personality, which is your personal reality, right? But the most incredible thing is that you have everything inside of you. You are all knowing. You know that you can change that. And one of the things that I think was a big realization for me over the week is that often I think you're in the mindset of, I've got to learn more, I've got to understand more, I've got to do all these things to be better. You don't. You've got everything you need to know already inside of you. Okay? You've got everything you need inside of you already. You've just got to unblock and unleash the things that are holding you back. That's more of it. It's not what you need to know. It's recognizing what is holding you back so that you can be your best self. Yeah? So you can be your best self. I played this last night, and I want to end with this little video because it was just a reminder, hopefully it will come up okay, that you've got to back yourself. You've got to believe that you've got it inside of you, and that you've got a light that needs to shine, right? You know, it's an incredible thing to have, start believing that you've got the everything that has shaped you to where you need to be is perfect. You know, everything that, even though you've had things that in the past that might not be great, it's shaped you into the person that you need to be. Okay? And you've got your unique story that needs to be, it needs to shine. It needs to be something that we help people with and overcome things with. And I think that's, you know, such an important thing to live by. And so I want to end in this because I loved this. Can I share my screen? I think I can. Okay. So hopefully you can hear this. Let me turn my volume up. So this is just, I want to end on this. So hang on 2 seconds. There we go.
So they can cut the chain off the door, but they can't make us play.
We've decided we're going to finish what you started, sir.
Yeah, so leave us be, coach. We got shit to do, sir. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We were all meant to shine as children do. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Sir, I just want to say thank you. You saved my life.
Thank you, sir. All of you.
All right, hang on, let me just get back. Where are we? All right. I love that because it always is a reminder that you have got everything inside of you, and it's you know, we often play way too small, way too small. And yeah, watch the movie. I know I was a bit the same when I saw that clip. I'm like, I want to watch the movie now. And that's why I just wanted to give you that bit of inspiration that, you know, we may have things that in the past that do hold us back, but we have the opportunity to change the story. We have the opportunity to change that. And, you know, if there is things that really truly you find that you need to break through, I would work on those things, because I can tell you now, if you can shift those shackles, it is going to free you for the destiny that you need to have. And that has been my whole week, has literally reframing what now the future holds, which is super exciting. And you know, this business, what we get to do in this business is so powerful, because I'm so grateful that over the last 8 years that this business has allowed me to grow as a person. And if that's the only thing that you do in this business, I can tell you, you will be successful no matter what, because your cup will always be filled. And if you're feeling like that, you want that growth, go inside. When you go inside, you'll never go without. Okay, go deeper inside, work through the things you need to work through, but totally believe that you are powerful, that people believe in you, that you are confident, and you have got the motivation and inspiration already there. You don't need someone to give that to you, because you've already got it there. It's tapping into that so that you can then design the future that you want to have. So that's it from me. Hopefully that was enough time. Timmy, do we have any questions?
Wow. I'm speechless.
Oh, good. I like when people are speechless.
And I'm always talking, so for me to be speechless, say something, that's for sure.
True. Awesome. Oh, thanks, guys. That's awesome. I'm glad that helped in some way.
Awesome. Cool. Hey, thank you so much for putting your time aside tonight, Abbi, and speaking life into us, and saying what you say. Like, oh my goodness, it's just amazing. I can't comprehend it. I'm going to have to listen to the recording again just a couple of times.
I'm glad that you recorded this, actually. It'd be good for those that missed out to have a little listen.
Absolutely. Cool. Once again, thanks so much, Abbi, and lots.
Love, go smash it now. Go do something. Go do something.
Smash it. Let's get into action now. Let's do it.
That's it. Just go do something. Even if it's a post, just go do something.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to do a post, that's for sure.
All right. Big love, everyone. Thanks for joining.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
That was good.